All right. Good morning, once again. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to those of you in the building. Good morning to those of you on Zoom. All right. I won't mention technical difficulties. I'll just roll right in. Ashe, thank you. And now we're going to ask Minister Alicia to give us any announcements that you may have.
Greetings, one and all. So far, I have a couple of announcements, and I'm going to do my best to put up the couple of flyers that I have for those that are on Zoom. And so the first one is that Will State Community Church's 39th anniversary is going to be Sunday, July 21st from 10 to 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. It's a healiversary focusing on healing and wellness. Our special guest is going to be the Back Notes Band, and the location is Estate Farms on 6240 Excelsior Road in Sacramento. You can join it via Zoom. It's going to be on Zoom. I hope you guys can see my screen, those of you that are on Zoom. And it's going to be we're going to have it on Zoom. And so the
address.
The address 6240 Excelsior Road, EXCELSIOR.
The Zoom link is what we can't see.
Oh, okay.
It's covered by something else.
Okay, let me try to.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay,
I see it.
There we go. I fixed it because it was covered. Sorry.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So that's at willsaysac.org. And it's going to have healing sounds, meditation, and health information for us all. And now, I don't know why that keeps coming up. I apologize. We are going to have, coming up this summer, we always do the MediKids Camp, which is going to be August 5th through 9th from 10 to 2. You could register or send out, this is in Sacramento, you could send out the information to your family and friends who may have children at the ages of 6 to 16. And the activities that we do is comedic yoga, sacred art. We're focusing on Adinkra symbols this year, Mother Earth connections. We're doing African character via the 10 virtues, chakras, mudras, meditations. That's going to be in William Lamb Park. And so it's sponsored by I Comedic Yoga, which is Sister Rashonda's business, Will Say Community Church, and Unorganized Art Supplies, which is Sister Michelle Sunshine's business. The registration fee is $100 for the entire week. So I'm going to stop sharing, but I do have two more. As you guys can see, I'm struggling, but okay. So the other things is we're going to have Black Knowledge Matters is on Wednesday at 5. And I don't know what the topic is. I'm really not sure about that part. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm trying to stop sharing and I'm trying to figure that out. But after that is going to be a WOW meeting, which is the Women of Will Say, and that is going to be at 6:30 after Black Knowledge Matters. Is there any other announcements from Oakland or anyone on Zoom? Any other announcements?
Here's an announcement or two coming from Oakland.
Okay,
Greetings, everyone.
greetings.
Um,
Take your time.
greetings, everyone. Um, as you know, Black Knowledge Night is on Wednesday, but on Tuesday, we're having a demonstration. The Kenyan troops have invaded Haiti, so we're having a demonstration at the federal building in San Francisco on Tuesday the 9th at 5 p.m. in front of the federal building. It's on 7th Street between Market and Mission, the old bus station. So if you're not doing anything at 5 o'clock, we'd like to see your face out there. Really be appreciated to see some Black folks. The Haiti Action Committee, I've been working with the Haiti Action Committee about 25 years, been to Haiti a couple of times. So I appreciate it if anybody wants to give us some support, please. Thank you.
And I have one, there's one other announcement. Minister Makalisi, Minister Malley and I have been working with Baba Alaman in DC. And my brother, who is in DC, has been assisting us quite a bit. Minister Makalisi is going to come forward on behalf of Baba Alaman and has an announcement, a special announcement. Minister Makalisi.
Rahacheb will say,
Seneb,
Ashe, giving thanks and praise for this day of life, health, and strength, for the spirit of Maat that's moving in and through this community as we endeavor to move it through our people everywhere. Which Brother Alaman, in his miles away from us, he's endeavored to do that always with the people residing in the apartment complex he was residing, for the people who are doing service in the rehabilitation center that he's currently in. So this is, in relationship to, or any number of aspects of our Wose community, of the sacred African way, in relationship to the principle of Ujima, that we will build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems to solve together. And so Brother Alaman is having a significant, although not really extreme, but a significant financial challenge. He's been required by certain circumstances, certain incidents that has happened to him in the apartment complex he was living. He has to move from there. And he's been in this rehab center here now for at least a month. The apartment complex gave him some, some leniency in not charging him for a full month's rental while his possessions are still in that apartment. So they've charged him a reduced rate compared to what the apartment rate has been. And then Minister Malley, Brother Tayemba, and myself have worked on helping to cover that expense. But Brother Alaman has some other expenses, and he's having some challenges to deal with them. And they're not, like I said, not just really extreme, but just significant for him. One of the things is that, Social Security didn't communicate with him about some changes that they were making, because the funds he was getting from Social Security that enabled him to pay for the rent at the apartment complex he was in has been taken and shuttled over to the recovery, what's the proper word? The location where he is currently. and they didn't talk to him about it. They just sent him a letter to say that's been done. So he's trying to, see where his funds are going to be and how soon he can have any access to any of them. And so it's just to say to the Wose community, if you know Brother Alvin, or if you just know about him as we're expressing, if you feel like you can are willing and able to assist in the offering that you present to Wose today or days to come, if you can just put, $5, $10, and if a significant number of us would do something like that, along with other folks that are endeavoring to help Brother Alderman out manage and not just be driven crazy by what's been imposed upon him, would be significant, would be seriously appreciated. So again, if you can, in your offering, make a note that, whatever you're giving, $5 of this is for Brother Alderman, $10 or whatever amount you feel led to provide. And so we continue to work with our brother, communicate with him. We also need to say that Brother Tyemba's brother, Brother James or Buzz Payton, has been working because he lives near where Alderman is, and he's been traveling back and forth from his home to that senior complex where Alderman was living, and doing all he can to get all his materials together and find a storage place for them until Alderman is more free and liberated, so that he can deal with things himself. So let me cut it off there. Just remember, one of our brothers needs some help, and we need to do all we can to help him out with that as we move along. So in the spirit of the Most High, I present that and I say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe, oh. Thank you, Minister Michael Lisi. And let me just add to that this is not going to be an ongoing thing. This is a one Sunday thing. So we're asking if you have money that you want to donate to Alaman today. In however you pay, we'll say, just indicate a portion of that you want to go to, we'll say, to Alaman, or if you say the special brother, if you don't remember his name. But we'll make sure, I've spoken to our treasurer, and she will make sure that whatever gets allocated to Alaman gets taken out and sent to Alaman. Now, if you donate to Sacramento, I'm not sure, can they do the same thing? I'm looking at Minister Imhotep. Minister Imhotep is saying yes. If you donate to Sacramento as opposed to Oakland, if you indicate that you want a part of that donation to go to Baba Alaman, we will make sure that it ends up in the right place. So thank you all, we'll say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we're going to have music from Maat.
Y'all know this song.
What is it? What is it?
Yeah.
Zoom doesn't hear anything.
Father, along the way, For thy footsteps to carry the way. This church was saved. Thank God for delivering. Was saved. Thank God for delivering. Thank God. Father, I stretch my hands to thee. Please don't take your love from me. Draw thyself from me. Where me from me, what you have to me. Thank God, ring is just for sake. Thank God for delivering this church was saved. Thank God for delivering this church was saved. Thank God for delivering this church was saved. People come from all sides of town. Was saying just stay around. We will not take you, we won't take you long. We won't forget the cornerstone. Bring us to what's so. Thank God.
There's no sound.
We cannot hear anything on Zoom. Can you get the mic closer to the speaker?
Mr. Imhotep, are you ready for your presentation?
Not hearing anything on Zoom.
Thank you for saying that. I thought I was the only one.
No,
I'm
it's
glad to
just
know.
it's just a still screen.
Yeah, presentation title.
No
That's all.
information.
Who's guiding the service today?
Good question. Affirmations haven't been offered.
We've been doing this thing now for years and we still struggling. We should be good at it now. There should be some improvement. I
Very
looked at it last week. We had the same thing.
Yes, very disappointing.
It's not very professional. We got to get better.
Generally happens in Oakland, not so much in Sacramento.
Zoom, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yes, I hear
Yes.
you, Babatai.
Hey, Zoom can hear us.
Go back to the camera.
We're back on.
Okay.
Okay. I wish we could get the camera to work like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is I am going to try to see if this. Zoom, I assume you didn't hear anything that I said about what's about to happen. So
Correct. We heard nothing.
we've reached the time that we call our historical tribute. Well, so Desmond didn't hear. So
Can you resume the share that you had up? I interrupted that.
I'm not sure what you're asking me to do, Brother Bill.
There was a screen share up and I interrupted it.
Okay, no, yeah, I'll get back to that. However, Baba Desmond was scheduled to do the historical tribute this morning. And
I'm here.
okay, so Baba Desmond, it's now time for your historical tribute. Go for it, my brother.
Oh, okay. The pressure. Okay. All right. Let me see if Minister Bill, am I able to share my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Okay. And bear with me here. You might do a little switcheroo. Okay. Can everyone hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Desmond Tutu.
Yes. So my historical tribute is on Desmond Tutu, who lived from 1993 to 2021. He passed away during the pandemic. And I chose to do this historical tribute because I don't think we covered him, and also because I am named after him. Thank you, family, for being patient. So why is this historical tribute? Desmond Tutu was the most known Anglican archbishop, best known for opposition to the apartheid in South Africa, for which he received the Nobel Peace Prize. He was the first Black Anglican dean of Johannesburg in 1975 and the first Black secretary of the South African Council of Churches for 4 years. A little bit about Desmond Tutu's background. Desmond Mpholo Tutu was born on October 1793. Tutu was born Xhosa and Botswana heritage to a poor family in Klerksdorp, Transvaal, South Africa. There's a picture right here, as you can see on which part of South Africa he is in, the northern part of South Africa. His mother's name was Alan Dorothea Maveristic Matharlari. Forgive me if I Chikri Zachary Tutu was spoke Xhosa from the Eastern Cape, and his father worked as a principal of the Methodist primary school in the area. At home, they spoke the Zulu language, living in a mud brick schoolmaster house in the yard of the Methodist mission. His family was poor. Desmond had an older sister who called his older sister was Sylvia Funeka, who called him Polo, meaning light. He was the second born. Older brother, Sipho, died in infancy. He had another younger sister named Gloria Lindaway. Desmond Tutu's back was born sickly from birth with polio atrophied his right hand. Growing up, he had a close relationship with his father. His family was initially Methodist, and Desmond Tutu baptized in the Methodist Church in June 1932. Desmond attended Johannesburg Bantu High School in 1945, where he excelled academically. His hobbies were he joined rugby and he earned money selling oranges and working as a caddy for white golfers. Desmond was going to study medicine at the University of Witwatersrand, but his parents could not afford the fees. So he then turned to teaching, gaining a government scholarship at Pretoria Normal College. This was a teacher training institution in 1951. So when he in school, he participated as a treasurer of the Student Representative Council. He participated in the Literacy and Dramatic Society. He chaired the Culture and Debating Society. During one debate, he met a lawyer and future president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. They did not encounter each other until 1990. He attained his teacher's diploma from Transvaal Bantu School. Also took courses at the University of South Africa, UNISA, graduated in the same class as future Zimbabwean leader Robert Mugabe. Desmond Tutu taught English in 1954 at Madibon High School. During his time, he began courting his wife, Nomaliza Leah Shezan. They married in June of 1955. In 1953, the White Minority National Party government introduced the Bantu Education Act to further their apartheid system of racial segregation and white domination. Disliking this act, Tutu and his wife left the teaching profession. He chose to become an Anglican priest. In January 1996, he was turned down, though, because he had a large amount of debt due to his debts. But these were later paid off by a wealthy industrialist, Harry Oppenheimer. Tutu was later admitted to St. Peter Theological College in Rosenville, Johannesburg. Tutu lived there at school while his wife studied nurse. Tutu studied the Bible and Anglican doctrine and church history. I forgot to mention, while he was in school, during one debate, he met a lawyer and future president, South African Nelson Mandela, and they would later encounter each other. They would not encounter each other again until 1990. I'm going to go ahead and play a video.
Now to the life and legacy of Desmond Tutu.
Can you guys hear that?
We can hear it, yes.
Okay.
Archbishop, Nobel Peace Prize winner, and a conscience for South Africa. His life spanned 90 years, most of it spent striving against segregation and then in reconciling the races.
We say we are the rainbow people.
Town, 1989, a clarion call to freedom. Before more than 20,000 protesters, Anglican Archbishop Desmond Tutu appealed for the birth of a new nation and an end to the iron grip of apartheid.
I want you to lift your hands. I want you to say,
Fade now.
Nearly 5 years later, in 1994, Tutu helped introduce the world to South Africa's first Black president, Nelson Mandela. And in the process, he witnessed the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. Desmond Tutu was born in 1931 in a small mining town before his family moved to Johannesburg. It was an era when South Africa's white minority codified long-standing racial segregation into rigidly enforced apartheid and deliberately de-emphasized education for Black people. That prompted Tutu to abandon a teaching career for the clergy. He joined the Anglican Church and quickly rose through the ranks, gaining notice as he spoke out against the white government and condemned apartheid. In 1976, unrest in the Black township of Soweto boiled over into riots. The government's brutal response left hundreds dead, mostly young and Black, and sparked an international outcry. The years that followed saw Tutu rise to become Archbishop of Cape Town and gain international recognition as one of the anti-apartheid movement's strongest advocates behind the pulpit and on the streets.
God can show me that the Bible supports apartheid. That day, I will take my Bible and tear it into little strips, and I will stop being a Christian.
He rejected the U.S. policy of constructive engagement with South Africa's white regime and instead vigorously supported economic boycotts of his own country. Those efforts earned him the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1984. Afterward, in an interview with the NewsHour, he mused on the meaning of the award.
It is saying that the world cares about oppression and injustice, and it is saying to our people, and this is their prize, don't give up. Don't give up the struggle. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
The light grew ever brighter. Apartheid. Mandela was released from prison and ultimately elected president. Together, they worked to usher in a new era for South Africa. Mandela would later call Tutu the voice of the voiceless, and he named the Archbishop to lead the country's Truth and Reconciliation Commission. In his 1999 NewsHour interview, the Archbishop talked about that desire for reconciliation even in the face of decades of brutality.
I am human because you are human. My humanity is caught up in yours. And if you are dehumanized, I am dehumanized. And anger and resentment and retribution are corrosive of this great good, the harmony that has got to exist between people. And that is why our people have been committed to the reconciliation where we use restorative rather than retributive justice.
Tutu became Archbishop Emeritus in 1996, but expanded his outreach, tackling issues outside of his home borders. He visited Rwanda after the horrific ethnic genocide in the early 90s. He weighed in on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, at times likening Israeli actions to apartheid-era South Africa. He later criticized the post-9/11 US-led war in Iraq, calling it immoral. In 2009, President Obama awarded Tutu the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honor. A year later, on his 79th birthday, he announced he would step away from public life, opting to spend his days with his family.
I really want to engage in the contemplative life because, you know, often when people are in love, they just want to sit and be together. And I want to try and be a bit more of that with God, but also to have some quality time with the mother of my children.
Still, he maintained his interest in human rights at home and abroad, despite bouts of illness that had him in and out of hospitals in his final years.
Okay, I'm gonna jump from there. I'm gonna switch gears. Thank you for watching that. And oh, I think hold on for one moment. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. Okay, can you guys see the PowerPoint again?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Desmond Tutu was known, as you can see, for a lot of things, being an advocate for freedom, justice, fighting against apartheid. He's also known for several books. Desmond Tutu's writing, some of the books he wrote, The Rainbow People of God, Desmond's The No Future Without Forgiveness, A Vision of Hope for Our Time, God is Not Christian, Desmond and the Very Mean Word, Let There Be Light, the Book of Forgiving, the Book of Joy, God's Dream, and Desmond's Tutu. One moment. I lost the page. One moment, real quick. Okay. And one of the things Desmond Tutu was known for was his awesome quotes, which I'm gonna go over real quick, and some other things. One moment as I share my screen again. Thank you for your patience. Oh, there we go. Okay, remembering Desmond Tutu. All right, so one of the quotes we have, let's see, that oh, this is not it. Okay, now I lost it. So let me just jump to some of the quotes that Nelson Tutu was known for. You guys could hear me. So one of his quotes, if you want peace, you don't have to talk to your friends. You talk to your enemies. Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. God is not upset that Gandhi was not a Christian because God is not a Christian. All God's children and their different faiths help us to realize the immensity of God. I'm not an optimist. I'm a prisoner of hope. The differences are not intended to separate, to alienate. We are different precisely in order to realize our need for one another. And one of it, humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. There's another good one. Forgiveness does not mean condoning what has been done. Forgiving means abandoning your right to pay back the perpetrator in his own coin. I refuse to be going, I would refuse to go to a public heaven. No, I would say sorry. I mean, I would much rather go to the other place. If I go to heaven, let me skip that one. There comes a point where we need to stop pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in. And this is a quote that District Attorney Pamela Price uses when it comes to the criminal justice system or the mass incarceration. You know, everyone always looks at, you know, what's the crime, what's the penalty, but doesn't look at what is the root cause. So on every card, she has this. There comes a point where we need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out where they're falling in. So it's the root cause of crime. A lot of us say it's poverty. Yes. I can't hear you. Okay, I'm gonna go. Did you say something?
Yes, and can we get you to wrap it up, please?
Yes. And so going back.
You have to say concretely what wrap up means.
Okay, finishing up, Desmond Tutu died on December 26th, 2021 at the age of 90 years old in the Oasis Care Centre, Cape Town, South Africa. Recently, soon his wife died too in 2021. And then he left his children, his legacy, Mofo Tutu, Trevor Tutu, Naomi Tutu, and Teresa Tutu. And one of the call of actions to chant is our march to freedom is unstoppable. Remember that and remember Desmond Tutu. Thank you guys for this presentation and for listening. Amen and Ashe to Desmond Tutu.
Thank you, Brother Desmond. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, say, and now I feel I need to tell a quick story. Sorry. Years and years and years and years ago, when I was a student at UC Berkeley, I went camping with a friend of mine, and we got lost in this trail. And so I climbed a tree because I was trying to see where we were going. and there was this little thin limb in front of me, and I kind of leaned out on the limb to look around, and the limb broke and I fell, and I broke my wrist. And it taught me never to put your faith in shaky limbs. Why do I bring that up today? I bring that up today because on last Tuesday, I attended a ministers meeting, and I confidently told the ministers that we are working on our technology, we're working on our sound, we're working on our picture, and I confidently said we would have a good service this morning. And I don't know what the lesson is yet, but I know I've learned a lesson from it. And now we're gonna have more music from the Sons of Maat.
All right, congregation, I think you know this. Y'all sing along like this. If anybody wants to.
What's the
come
song?
up here-
What's the song?
Yeah, you'll know, you find out.
I am so thankful to be African. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am so thankful to be African. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I know the ancestors and the elders are smiling every day because they know we are one day. The Church of the African Way. I am so thankful to be African. Oh, yes, I am. 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 I am so thankful to be. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I know you know me. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's God's destiny. It was meant to be. We must be together as one. In God's creation, hatred should never be. That's the master plan to control you and me. It's God's destiny. Yes, it was meant to be. To be together as one. And I am so glad to be. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am so glad to be. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You should all be. And you should be too. Yeah. Oh, yes, we are. Yes. While our ancestors, while we love to be in our right. Thank you for Mother Africa. Oh. I want to pour a libation to Desmond Tutu, and I want to pour a libation to Mama Josie.
I see.
Sure.
Awesome. Oh.
Now, Catabasi, right? Litany of sacrifice. Yes, litany of sacrifice, Baba Catabasi. It's time to pay the bills.
Microphone. Those aren't working. I have yours. Oh, sounds like it. Yeah, okay. That's why we went to. Good morning, good afternoon, we'll say community, wherever you find yourself. Whether you're in Florida, whether you're in Indiana, South Carolina, if you're in Atlanta, Sacramento, wherever you find yourself, welcome. Welcome to the Rose community. This is the time of our service for the litany of sacrifice. And this morning's inspiration comes from a couple selections from the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, Great Issues of a Race from 4500 BC to 2000 AD by ancestor Dr. Chancellor Williams. And the first reading comes from the very beginning of the book. And for those that may not be aware of it, Dr. Williams spent some 27 years writing this book that was supposed to be 2 volumes, but because of failing eyesight, he had to bring it to a conclusion. So he gave us this book, The Destruction of Black Civilizations. It's about 75 pages. And I was struck by the dedication of the book. After all the years, all the research, all the travel, and when he summarized it and put it together, he says, dedication to the Black youth of the 1960s for beginning the second great emancipation, the liberation of our minds, and thus changing the course of history. And then literally at the very end of the book, in the final chapter, which he titles The Shape of Things to Come, he writes in the last paragraph of the final chapter.
Can somebody put the camera on the speaker?
Yeah. Someone is asking for the camera. They want to see who's talking. So we can see here. So I can't.
You're on.
I'm good. Okay. Okay. So the last paragraph of the final chapter, he says, the task we now face will test this genius of the Black race.
Yes.
The Blacks in the United States are in the best position as lead-off example for the rest of the African race.
Yes.
For such a movement would further change the course of history and inspire Black youth everywhere, along with their elders, with a new vision, a sense of direction, and the kind of outlook that gives meaning to study as a source of inventions and new discoveries. The challenge to the Blacks on this continent is to overcome the centuries of their own American version of tribalism and disunity. It is their greatest challenge in this era of a perpetual crisis. They will accept it if they have come to understand at last that equal rights and equal justice will never come from appeals to the mighty and granted as an act of grace, but only from their own position of power and influence, which developed from a united people engaged in great and vast undertakings of their own. If we fail to accept this challenge at this critical turning point in our history, we will have proved ourselves unworthy of having any descendants, and our very name should be forgotten by them, a curse by their father's generation. End of quote. So some very stern remarks from ancestor Chancellor Williams in terms of what we need to do, what we need to be about, and freeing ourselves. And this is the work that the Wosei community is involved in. This is where we take our structure, where we take our guidance from. So much of it comes from the destruction of Black civilization. And so part of that is to say that we have to support our organizations, we have to support other groups that are doing work that needs to be done. And so, of course, that places the Wosei community in many ways in the forefront of doing and striving to do that work, because we've been doing it for 43 years. So we need members to step up as best you can and donate to the Wosei community. And additionally, we had an appeal from Brother Tayemba and Minister Makalisi concerning our brother Alamine, who is in the state or the district of Washington. And so whatever you can do, we all are aware of the needs. So whatever you can do to help us at this time, of course, we're here maintaining our building. We have a building of this size. There's insurances, there are utilities, and there are other things that goes with just maintaining the building. And of course, we maintain this building for our school. So please dig as deep as you can at this time and send us some contributions as we need them. Now, I don't know if those of you in the audience will be able to, well, I know for a fact you can't see the screen. So we'll not be able to post the litany of sacrifice, but for those of you here in the building, in the audience, you've got books, and so you can read along. And for those of you that have perhaps recorded it to memory, then it's just easy. It just flows right along. And so I begin. Save us, O Holy One, by your name, vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, divine protector. Listen to the words of my mouth. How can we repay the Holy One for the gifts that have been given to us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the God of our ancestors. We will fulfill our vows to our Creator in the presence of all our people. Gladly we bring our sacrifices to you. We will praise your name, O Loving Rock, for it is good. Umoja, unity. We should strive to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race.
Self-determination. We shall define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We shall build and maintain our communities together. Our brothers and sisters' problems shall be ours to solve together.
And together profit from them.
Nia, purpose. We shall make our collective vocation the building and development of our community and the restoration of our people to our tradition of greatness.
Creativity. We shall do as much as we can, in any way we can, to leave our community more beautiful.
Imani, faith. We will believe with all our hearts in our God, our people, and in the righteousness and victories of our struggles. Ashe. Thank you. I see that, yes, indeed, Brother Ty has been successful in getting the address up for we'll say Oakland as well as for we'll say Sacramento. They have the street address for we'll say Oakland, P.O. Box address for we'll say Sacramento. And if you go on the website, well, we'll say Oakland or we'll say SAC, there are also some digital financial links there that you can make contributions as well. And again, of course, I'm encouraging you all to do just that. We are a small community. We have ongoing and sustained needs. And to continue this work, we need your support. And with that being said, I'll take just a few moments for a closing prayer. Holy One, divine creator, ancestor spirits, sources seen and unseen, known and unknown, that supports us in this creation. I give thanks. Holy One, we thank you for each and every one gathered here in the sanctuary, for those gathered in their homes, in the various states. We thank you for their presence. We thank you for their commitment. We thank you for their dedication. We thank you for all of those that gave contributions today, for those who wanted to give but did not have to give. We thank you. There will be other opportunities. We thank you, O Holy One, for allowing us to come together, to worship, to praise your name, to raise up the name of beloved ancestors that sacrificed much that we could be here today, enjoying the relative freedom that we do. We can and must never forget them.
Yes.
We ask you to keep your hearts and minds open for the one that will come with a message that you need to hear. And so be with us, O Holy One, throughout the remainder of the service. Peace and blessings to those in the audience and their families, that they can go through today and through the rest of the week with health, vitality, and strength. And join us again next week at the same place at the Woolsey community. This is my prayer. Ashe.
Thank you.
And now, thank you, Barbara Kadabasi. And now we're going to bring forth the one who has come to deliver this morning's message. If I had thought about it, I would have had the sounds of my prepared to play some reggae for us. But I don't know if I can just call out and ask her to do it. But
Thank you. Thank you so much, Baba Ty.
thank you, Brother Minister Motel. Oops.
Most our community church is a community of the way. The way is Maat, truth, justice, and righteousness. We believe in the teachings of our elders and our ancestors.
Yes.
The Creator God created the universe and placed inside each of us a part of the divine spirit. God living in us and through us has given to us the right and power to establish peace and justice throughout all life, true harmony with all of creation. Our way is not merely a ritual or belief. Our way is a way of life. Our way is not a random path. Our way begins with coherent overstanding. Go ahead, Pamela. Go ahead. I love it. No, that's good. It aims at preserving a knowledge of who we are. It is with this conviction that we study the rich heritage of the African people. The way is reciprocity. The way is wholeness. The way is unity and self-determination. It is creativity and collective work and responsibility. Our way is faith, purpose, and cooperative economics. Our way creates. Our way worships and praises the God of our ancestors. The way is the way of life. The way only destroys destruction. All right, see you later. That's it. Just a few words. I want to thank. I love the organ coming in, and the reggae, of course, is always welcome for me. I'm glad to see Brother Charles Katabasi. When I got out of the car, I saw Minister Malley. Sister Keisha brought a 3209 Galindo Street picture. Thank you, Sister Zarita, for the prayer. And Babatai, Shashem. For some reason, I can't think of your name, brother. You know, I know you. Yes. Curtis, Brother Curtis, yes. And of course, my friend, Father Dale. All right. Did I forget anybody? Oh, Pamela. I'm sorry.
You got us online.
So what you said? What you said on top of?
You forgot us online.
Okay. Wait a minute. Nantambu, Minister Makalisi, Bill. All right. Well, who's in the kitchen? Akanke is in the kitchen. Thank you, Akanke. All right.
I'll see what you start.
Yeah, that he trapped.
I told you happy birthday. Hello. God, this is a tough crowd here in Oakland. Who else was right there with Akake? Who was that? Connie. Oh, hey, Connie. Yes, indeed. All right.
You didn't say anything about his style.
Study. This is a tough crowd here in Oakland. And you can see why I don't come here. I'm kidding. Sorry, Study. I'm looking right at you. All right. What'd you say, Ty? Oh, yeah, that's right. Then it'll start all over again. All right. Hey, what are we here to talk about? You know what? We've said so much. I want to share this. We used to do this traditionally on this day, and you know, I found out that Baba Tai actually went to this church, the Church of the Black Messiah, Washington D.C. Brother Ishakamusa Boroshango, did I say his name right? And he wrote this book called European Holidays of Mental Genocide, Volume 1 and 2.
Yes.
And Volume 1, now I forgot my glasses. I got 6 pairs of reading glasses at home. I left out, but I did bring my shades. All right. Is that what it is? No, okay, all right. What to us is your 4th of July?
Come on. Say it.
What to the American slave is your 4th of July? Okay, let me just give some background. He did this in the year 1852.
Yeah.
On the occasion of the celebration of the 76th anniversary of America's independence from Britain.
Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass. a great abolitionist and orator. You know what? They say sometimes when Frederick Douglass would get to speak, you know, sometimes he would have to go down. You know, he would have to punch people out in the crowd, you know, because those hecklers was really serious about maintaining slavery.
Yes.
You know, so he got up there. Oh, another just a side note about his history. At the age of 17, he was getting a little incorrigible. And so they sent him to the slave breaker, and he broke the slave breaker.
16. Beat him up.
He was 16? I thought he was 17. All right, he was 16 or 17.
Beat him up.
And the slave breaker didn't mention it. It's that's kind of bad advertising. If you're a slave breaker, if you're a slave breaker.
Exactly.
So he would get up and make these profound messages. He would say, what to the American slave is your 4th of July?
Yes.
Our answer, a day that reveals to him more than any of all the other days of the year, the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham.
Yes.
Your boasted liberty, an unholy license.
Yes.
Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless.
Yes.
Your denunciation of tyrants, brash, fronted, empty. Goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't hold back.
Right, he didn't. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery, your prayers and hymns, your psalms and thanksgivings, with all your religious parades and solemnity are to him mere bombast, deceptions and pious hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages.
Yeah.
There is not a nation on earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody
Yes.
Come on.
than the people of the United States at this very hour.
Yes.
Go where you may, search where you will, roam throughout all the monarchies and despotisms of the old world, travel from South America, search out every abuse. And when you have found the last, lay your facts side by side of the everyday practices of this nation.
Yes.
Every day.
And you will say with me that for revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy, America reigns without a rival.
That's right. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, other troops, everybody has to say it.
I was sitting at home
True today.
and people were pretending like they was at war, and they were
Yeah.
you know, I was hearing all kind of explosions and everything, and you think about the people in Gaza, Sudan, well, that's their reality every day. Barbara Stadi was talking about Haiti.
Yeah.
You know, well, that's their reality every day.
But they're not shooting up in the air.
Yeah, they're not. Well, you know, even that, Keith, it's what goes up must come down.
All over my yard.
All over your yard. And in the Sacramento area, you know, there's a large spot of, you know, there's large grassy areas.
Yes.
That dry up
Yeah.
during the summer.
Right.
You know, so it's just, we're not thinking, you know, just
No.
not thinking about, okay, our freedom writings this morning will come from a page. I don't know if you're able to put it up, Bill or Jeff. I can see the screen, I can see the Zoom screen from where I'm at. Are you able to share the PDF that I sent? It'd be nice to follow along. If you can't, that's all right.
That mic is not really
This
on.
mic isn't on.
Just put some more
It's
buttons.
clear to me.
Fine, here you go. That's all.
Okay.
I thought you were using the other mic.
You know what, sometimes I don't need a mic,
I know this.
you know, but, oh, okay, he got it up, thanks. So here's, I'm sorry for those of you that we don't have it on the screen. Let me just tell you this, this was told to me, when I first came to Wilson. We have a PR problem.
Come on, tell the truth.
We have a PR problem, and so we have to get it right. I'm not blaming anyone. I know how difficult it is to transmit over the over the airways.
Yeah.
But everything that we do, we have a PR problem. We have to work on ourselves. Mother Spraggins, pour a libation for her.
Oh, please.
Mother Spraggins,
Okay, I say.
birthday's the end of this month,
Come and be with us.
July, Leo. And she would say, I'm working on my own Black self.
Yes, yeah.
You know, I'm tucking in, and then she would add, I'm tucking in the corners of my life. And that's what we have to do here, all of us. So I take responsibility for this not being together today. You know, when I walked in, they said, do you have experience with Apple? I do, but I forgot my glasses. Right? I'm not making excuses, but these are just things that happen.
Queen Mother Thurston's birthday is also this month.
Queen Mother Thurston's birthday is like today. Is it?
It's 7th.
Today's the
Today's
seventh.
today. Okay.
Queen Mother Thurston, is it your birthday today? Are you on? Did you take a break? Are you on? Yes. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you, Queen Mother Thurston.
I thought we was gonna do Stevie.
Thank you for being a part of us.
Yes.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, I'm.
Freedom writing.
Oh, yeah, that. Okay. Pieces cut off from their whole are nothing but dead fragments. This is from 2000 Seasons, page 2, second and third paragraph. Pieces cut off from their whole are nothing but dead fragments. From the unending stream of our remembrance, the harbingers of death break off meaningless fractions.
Say it.
Their carriers bring us news of shards. Their message, behold this paltriness, this is all your history. Beware the destroyers.
Yes.
It is their habit to cut off fingers from the hand itself, uprooted from the parent body, calling each fallen piece a creature, different from ears, eyes, nose, feet, entrails, and other individual creatures of their making.
Say that.
Is it a wonder we have been flung so far from the way? That our people are scattered even into the desert, across the sea, and over away from this land, and we have forgotten how to recognize ourselves. Our message today is, have we forgotten how to recognize ourselves?
Yes. Okay.
I've been talking to members of Wose Oakland and Wose Sacramento, and they've been relating to me the killings of our young men in our neighborhoods by other Black and African-American males. Neely Fuller Jr., who is a mentor of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, wrote, and she said there are, so he said, this is Neely Fuller now, he said there, in the system of white supremacy, there are no Black men. Now, okay, I don't want to debate that. We can go back and forth, but he says in this system, there are no there are only Black males. And so sometimes to prove their manhood, our young men act aggressively towards each other. It's been denied. It's been denied in school. It's been denied in history. They don't even want you to know what Frederick Douglass said about the 4th of July.
Yes.
They've cut that out.
Yeah. All over the internet, though.
These activities are condoned and encouraged by the system, and we need to recognize that we're all on the same team.
Come on now, teach the truth.
We're all on the same team.
That's right.
But Renoko told us we go from snow to crow. We're all on the same team.
Come on.
Last week I was listening to John Fugelsang, not an African, but I liked you say he said in the last week we learned that presidents can break laws, but they're not allowed to enforce existing laws. It's a crime to be homeless. Did you pick up on that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a crime to be homeless, but bribery is okay. That polluters can't legally be stopped. The EPA can't regulate the water, but judges can decide food safety. Judges will decide pharmaceutical safety. Judges will now be the ones to decide if that part from Boeing is safe on the plane. The 10 Commandments have to be taught in public schools, but the truth about racism in history class cannot be taught.
Come on.
Rapists can become parents, but couples who need IVF can't. All right, somebody mentioned, I'm rushing through this, you know, this is something that we need to really focus on, sit down, talk about it, have a good, but in Destructive Black Civilization, who was that brought up destructive? Was that you, Kat? Destructive Black Civilization, chapter 6, Birth of Democracy, says this: in warfare, the object was not to kill the enemy, but to overcome him with fear if possible, such as war cries, loud noise, hideous mass, etc. Where killing is unavoidable, it must be kept to a minimum. In case of defeat, there must be some kind of rouge to enable the enemy to retire in honor. There were quarrels and warfare between these member states of common lineage. The highly humane aspect of African warfare that puzzled many Western visitors or doubtlessly developed from the widespread recognition of lineage or kinship ties. For in the much heralded tribal wars, the main objective was to overcome or frighten away the adversary, not to kill, if it could be avoided. Hence the hideous mass, blood-curdling screams as they charged. When the enemy was defeated or completely surrounded, escape routes were provided, the victors pretending not to be aware of them. Indeed, there are reports of even of rest periods.
Yes, come on.
In war. Oh, we don't do that now. We don't allow any escape.
Yeah.
And why are we, what are we doing? What are we fighting over?
You know the answer.
Have we forgotten how to recognize ourselves? So there was rest periods when neither side seemed to be winning. As such times, the warriors on both sides might meet at the nearest stream to refresh themselves, kid each other, laugh at each other's jokes until the drum, gongs, or trumpets sounded for the resumption of the battle. This was traditional Africa. How did it change to warfare, to killing each other, lineage or no lineage? How did it happen that even now, in our modern and advanced civilization, some of the most murderous and inhumane wars are fought blacks against blacks? And this in the face of their increasing awareness that we are one people. Everybody knows this now. We know that we're one people. I don't care if you're from Texas or Louisiana or the district or wherever you're from. What did Peter Tosh say?
Don't care where you come.
Don't care where you come from. No mind your nationality, no mind your complexion. There is no if your complexion high, if your complexion low, if your complexion in between. Oh, this is what we need to be teaching. This is the theology. This is umoja, unity. First principle.
I say.
First principle of the Nguzo South. It is quite clear that in early Africa, war was not much more than a frightful game when among themselves. Was the radical change brought about by the death-dealing incursions from Asia and Europe? Well, this raises other questions of great urgency. Are we really civilized today? Have we not substituted the trappings of civilization, our triumphs in science and technology and the computer revolution, for civilization itself? Suffice it to say here that there are steady awakenings of lineage ties and its spirit of unity. It is also a weakening of the sense of brotherhood and unity among the Blacks. Today, it is really finds little expression except in various language or tribal groups, and these maintain it more and more cohesive forces to be used against each other. You know, I'm always on Facebook. I admitted that, David. It's all right. So, you know, I have all these pictures, Kat.
I know.
You know, I got all these pictures, yeah, and I was reading in Van Sertima's. Bring up the next slide that I'm going to is the one after that. The one after that. Yeah, that one. So this is a quote from Van Sertima. He's another one. Looked like he was ready to go down while he was speaking. He was like about 6'4". If you asked him a question if you asked him a question that was out, he looked like he might jump on. But this is Van Sertima writing. He says, well, we have been trained to see and imagine only one kind of African, the primitive, the slave, the colonial, the tragic outcast and misfit on the edge of the modern world. If therefore we find him at the center of the civilization, the matter of its origin and its inspiration becomes highly suspect. The question immediately arises, are we dealing with a true African? Let us dig up his graves. Let us check out his crania. Let us rip off his mummy wrappings. Is the nose of the ancient Egyptian broad enough to be Negro? Are his lips thick enough? Does his jaw jut out far enough? Is his skin black enough? Is he not just a tanned European, a brown Mediterranean, a Euro-African, a Hamite, an Afro-Asian? You know, that's so when you find it, I know that you know this, Brother Mom and Daly. You know, when you find Africans in the center of civilization, then there's something else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Got to be.
They got all kind of names for them. You know, but Van Sertima goes on in another part of the book. He says, yeah, the next slide. Yeah, go ahead. Those of you that follow. So he says, native African populations are phenotypically polytypic. That is, there exists in Africa a variety of phenotypes, face and body shapes that may differ from the stereotypical Negro, falsely formed and firmly fixed within the rigid imagination and classification of European observers. Crawford outlines 6 of these variants or types. I shall, lest they be lost to the students, highlight the main features of these groups. There are elongated variants, to which General Adid, that's General Adid, if you guys can look at it. This is General Adid. You guys may not remember this. Remember General Adid in the 90s? This is General Adid. It was some Somalian general that was defeating the European. He's just using his as an example. You know, if I went around this room,
Yeah.
there's a different representation.
Right. Say that.
You know, and we're taught that there were 42 nomes and promises. I don't think that's entirely true. I think that those are 42 tribes.
Okay, now.
Okay.
Bring it.
All right.
All
right.
Yesterday.
Those are 42 tribes. They call them CPATs. And so some people look like Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
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 Some people look like you know, whoever. You know, they're different tribes. And that's probably why they wrote in consonants. Because the people over in Texas, they speak this way, and the people over in Louisiana, they speak this way, and the people over in Arkansas speak this way, and the people over in Uganda speak Swahili this way, and the people over in Tanzania speak Swahili this way, and the people in Kenya. All right? I don't know if I'm making any sense today.
Tell the truth.
Come on, we got it. So much sense is making dollars.
Stop it now. All right. Next slide, please. Whoever that is, Bill, Jeff, I don't know which one it is. Okay, so here. Now, this is what really gets me. Okay, I'm on Facebook. They put Nefertiti up. This is not Nefertiti. This is a fake picture that a man that came from Germany when it was called Prussia went and studied, and then, okay, he had some artist make this thing based upon, next slide, his wife.
Okay, now.
And then the king of Prussia came, and he didn't want, and he saw this, and he said, oh, this looked like a white woman. This must be the queen. And so, not to embarrass him, he didn't say nothing. And he kept it in his living room for 11 years, and then brought it out. I'm shortening the story. And then people want to argue with me with this.
He ain't got nothing better to do.
Go down a couple go down to where it says the real Queen Nefertiti. Can you guys hear me on Zoom?
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah, because I got Big Will's voice.
Yes.
That's my dad. All right. So here's the real Nefertiti. She got a long head like Akhenaten.
Just like it.
All right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yay.
Strong family resemblance.
Now, look, this is of her body.
Okay, now.
Look at them hips.
They used to make videos of this in the 90s. What was that guy's name? I don't call it that. So when I say those things, next slide. Good. Yeah. So now, you know, on Facebook, they have this site. 2023, United Against Afrocentrism.
Yeah, they don't like what we gotta say.
Yeah. And then they put these kind of pictures on, to clown us.
Yeah, come on, yeah, and we're not surprised.
Yeah. They even talk about my friend Astroquace. Now, Tombo, remember him? 1981 trip.
Yes, I do.
So this was his first trip. We met him in 1981. You probably don't remember me, but I remember him.
He did that whole set.
Yeah, there's a story, but I'm not going to. So they put these kind of pictures up because they're trying to clown us. Okay.
All the time.
All the time. Look, go, they miss you in the jungle.
They don't have the facts.
You know what some of them do? They just don't want to let you know that.
That's right.
Sing me a song. This is on the go to the next slide. Yeah.
You say, sing me a song.
You see that picture? Not see that picture. Say, sing me a song. We was kings. They really clowns. And then, for some reason, I forgot what Kevin Hart did. They don't like him. Oh, he had a tour.
To Egypt and said that the Egyptians were black. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, you know what? This is Sensoret the second. That's what he looks like.
Come on.
Yep. Resemblance there.
All right.
I didn't make it up.
He's good.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, all the time, every day, Lord.
And then they already go down to King Tut, okay? Let's skip down. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, right there. So now a lot of times they'll show this picture. King Tut, he's traveling over some Nubians, like they different people. But you know what? We fight each other.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is bad. This is an example. Years later, people use it. See, they're not the same people. But they don't show you this picture. When this picture show up, it's all kind of explanation why he's black. Charcoal.
Yeah.
Have you met some of the people from the Sudan?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Next slide.
Next slide. So here, Zawi Awas, he knows that.
He said it about 30, 40 years.
He can't help but to see that. Stevie, that's right. Stevie and Ray. That's right.
Awas is embarrassing.
Now, and so this is what they came up with. Yes, thank you. They say, well, through our examinations and everything, this is what King Tut really looks like. Wow. Wow. Next slide. Not like this. It's just black people. Look at this one here. Another guy from Somalia.
Come on now.
But they got all kind of explanation. You want go down to the next one, guys. Thank you. Here's again. There's a reason why his hair is like that.
I think so.
No, but they got all kind of explanation. Egyptology was created to distort the truth.
Exactly.
That's why Egyptologists. I used to go to school. I used to go to school with a guy like this. At Skyline High School. just like this. It looked like your cousin. Yeah. Let me just go in here and say, okay, I'm just gonna, okay, this picture is just saying, this is Diodorus Siculus. He's saying that the Egyptians came from the Nubians. And that Osiris, some people say Asar, I say Wasir. Some people say Osiris, some people say Wasir. He led them in. At one point, it wasn't even land there. It was the silt from the Nile that put that land there.
Come on now, Pete.
That's why it was a blessing. Floods.
You know, but now, okay, go to the next slide. This is how crazy it is. Go to the next slide. Thank you. So here, they said,
We're unable to hear you.
okay.
We've lost audio on Zoom.
Because they said, we've done DNA studies. And we've determined that the ancient Egyptians, just think about that. There was never a time during the ancient period when they referred to it as Egypt. If you'd have said that back in the time, they wouldn't have known what you were talking about. But it said, these are the people, how does it say? It says, a new DNA analysis of ancient Egyptians shows that they were more Turkish and European than African.
Yeah, right.
And that's why they left pictures like this.
They picking the DNA analysis.
Yeah. This is the man who deciphered the Rosetta Stone. Look what he's doing. This is Champollion.
Stepping on the head of that.
He steps on his Africa. All right, they need to show these. Go to the African kings slide. Bill, is that you or Jeff? Well, what are you guys? Thanks. Next one. That one. It's African kings. This is just kind of around. Now this is the guy. His name is Mr. Imhotep, not me, but it's a brother. His name is Mr. Imhotep. Look, it starts at the first dynasty, goes to the 26th dynasty. Just picture people. You know, we're there. All right, next slide. So this one here, these are there was never a man called Pharaoh in the ancient time. Let's see, we got all kind of names. But these are kings from Wosei. Yeah. Look like my cousin. All right. Next slide. So here, and then there's another Facebook page. It's called the Disciples of Joe. I'm a member of that. The Disciples of Joe or Diop. And here's a picture. All of them are Africans.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. West African, East African, South African. You know, they're all African. Pieces as we close. Next, yes. Pieces cut off from their whole are nothing but dead fragments. From the unending stream of our remembrance, the harbingers. I had to look that word up. Anybody know what that word means?
Foreteller.
Yes. The harbingers of death, the foretellers, the bringers of death, break off meaningless fractions. That's what they do. They say, okay, you got these people over here, they're different from these people over here, and these people over here, they got this kind of funny thing that they do, and you know, yes. The harbingers of death break off meaningless fractions. Their carriers brings us news of shard. Their message, behold this paltriness. This is all your history. Beware destroyer. It is their habit to cut off fingers from the hand itself, uprooted from the parent body, calling each fallen piece a creature different from ears, eyes, nose, feet, entrails, and other individual creatures of their making. Is it a wonder that we have been flung so far from the way? That our people are scattered into the desert, across the sea, over and away from this land, and we have forgotten how to recognize ourselves. Not people in this room. As I'm looking at it, nobody in this room doesn't know how to recognize themselves. Okay, but there's people out there, and then there are young people.
Yes.
No, but our young people are blowing each other's heads off.
Yeah, come on.
One of our members up in Sacramento, she called me. She said, Mr. Mhotep, would you officiate at my grandson's funeral? I said, what happened? He came outside and some masked men shot him. I got out the car. I was talking to my brethren today, and he was telling me a similar situation. We need to reach out to, and he gave me a really good background, because after the crack epidemic, you know, the generations after that, they don't have no concept of sometimes what's right and what's wrong.
Exactly.
The things that they're imitating. The things that they're imitating, even the people that they imitate, they don't do that.
Come on now.
When they go into a holy place, they don't do that. But we have lost that.
Brainwashed.
And it's continually happening. That is why Wose community, the Shrine of the Black Madonna, what's that church that Mahib and Okanona go to? First African. All those churches like that, these are important to raise. This is not just, hey, let's go have some. This is our mission.
Yeah.
This is why we're here. If you think that you forget, hey, why am I doing this? It's to uplift our people.
Come on.
You know, we don't get a salary. I did. I got $1,000 one year. It was the 10th anniversary of Wose Sacramento. So that meant I got $100 a year.
There you go.
I'm not asking for a salary. That's how I went and worked for Babylon for 36 years.
Yeah.
Okay. We have to do, what's that? Do as much as we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial when we're here. All right, I've spoken too long. I didn't mean to speak this long, but sisters and brothers, we have forgotten how to recognize ourselves.
Come on.
And we need to, all those people that don't recognize themselves, particularly those young people, don't know how to recognize themselves. We need to get that. That's why I like what you all are doing. The Ileoma Day.
See?
It is so important. I was at that program and that graduation.
Yes, yeah.
Powerful.
That's the kind of things that we need to see all the time.
Yes.
It's important. You all know that.
Yep.
All right. In warfare, the object is not to kill the enemy,
Come on now.
but to overcome him with fear, if possible, such as screaming war cries, loud noises, hideous masks, etc. Where killing is unavoidable, it must be kept to a minimum. In the case of defeat, there must be some kind of ruse to enable the enemy to retire with honor. We need to provide escape routes for our people. Okay, yeah, sometimes people.
Lock you in.
Sometimes, right. You gotta provide an escape route. Okay, yes. You know, in your mind, yes, I know that's ignorant. You gotta provide escape route and teach them. I like what Sugar D's doing. Sugar D, are you still on there? I like what she has a daycare. What she's doing with the kid. If you're reaching out, Jahi's doing a great job.
Yes.
Pamela.
20 jobs. Yes.
Yeah. He likes that. Yeah. But we all are, when you step up and you join WOSE, it's not a vacation. People gonna say stuff to you. You might be thinking, just one more thing. If I hear one more thing, I'm out. But you can't. You gotta keep going.
Yes.
You gotta keep going. I'm in.
So,
Ashe.
For me, some of the best messages leave you without a whole lot else to say.
All right now.
And I think we've been blessed today with that type of message. Let's please recognize my brother minister in Maat.
Yeah.
Please. And I was asked to do an invitation. What's amazing is he started the invitation.
All right now.
See, if you're wondering why we do what we do, he gave the cause.
He sure did.
He laid out the foundation. There's a need.
Yeah.
And we're trying to address the need that everyone in this room and online on Zoom are aware of. The issue is, can we reach out? Can we touch some more folk? Because it's not a one-man job, a one-woman job, or a small group job. It's gonna take unity in communities on past the people in this room to make this truly happen and then truly stay. All of us have been familiar. Nobody, even when you've been in the house for months, not talking to nobody, is not aware. We have the news. You ain't even got to go to Facebook. Okay? You got the news. You ride anywhere.
Yeah.
Outside.
Yes.
If you're amongst other folks, sadly, the picture is clear.
Yes.
So I don't need to solicit an understanding or an over understanding about what it is. What I want to do is encourage you all who are here, invite you in the work. But I also want you
to step out yourselves.
Come on.
I continue to say, especially after my messages, that if you truly believe what you believe,
Yeah.
if it truly is important the way you say it is, then you don't keep it a secret.
Come on.
You don't keep this to yourself. The power of it is to do with adults what they're doing in Leone with children,
Come on now.
but a little bit deeper. Because children are dependent on us.
Yeah.
Keep the world in order.
Yeah.
So that what they're learning, they can be safe enough for them to grow up in it.
Come on now.
Yeah.
It's not just enough
Right, right.
to have the schools, not just enough to have these buildings. It takes people like us who say we are aware that we own this and talk to others.
Yes, yes.
We need to share this burden. We need to speak to it and just simply tell the truth. There wasn't nothing deep, although some of it was amazing, about the message we were given today. It's not hidden from us, which is the beauty of this.
Let's call it share this opportunity.
Ah,
It ain't no burden.
yes.
It's not
I,
work.
I like
Come
that.
on now.
Rename it. It's an opportunity.
Frame it. Yes.
I only say it as a burden in the sense of as a minister, it feels heavy sometimes. You know what we talk about. And that moment of just one more thing happens a lot. Y'all don't know how many times I've put my resignation letter together. And I ain't been here but a year in position. Understand, it's a challenge in leadership,
Yes, yes.
but it's also a beautiful opportunity.
Yeah.
And I want to extend that opportunity to y'all who have yet to be official members and those who already are to pick up the mantle of the work. Don't let this be an intellectual exercise. And we just don't want to sound good on Sunday and look good in book meetings. This has to be taken up because the challenge is a 24/7 one.
Yes,
Y'all feel me today?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
indeed.
So I want to invite you all who have, if you haven't formally joined us, there's folks on Zoom listening to join us in the effort to take the opportunity to help free ourselves.
Yes, yes.
Ourselves.
Yes.
Because it's not a one-shot deal to be free. It takes an ongoing effort.
Yeah.
And so I want to invite us, there's someone online, someone in person, to join in this opportunity, to do some freedom work. We use freedom writings. Well, they should be used for that purpose, to free us up, which is an ongoing, lifelong journey. Ashe?
Ashe.
Ashe?
Ashe.
Ashe. Yes, indeed. Is anyone online raising their hand? Baba time?
I don't see anyone, no.
Okay, so all the members, be here. Anybody not a member that's here? Don't be scared. Don't maybe check the records. All right? Yes, indeed. So then, at this point, shall we all rise? Baba Ty, you did honor. Take one.
Like the music.
full of the pain and the darkness that's gone. Sing my soul, full of the good and the praises that's gone. Things we go right, so let us march on to victory. Yes.
Now to them who is able to lift us up faultlessly before the throne on high.
Yes.
May they empower us to be a people with one aim, one vision, one faith, one destiny, one love, one heart, one God. Let us call upon the name of that one God as our ancestors and elders have done for countless generations. For time immemorial, let us all say together. You are the most beautiful people on the face of this earth.